Offer a prayer so that we can begin. Okay. Dear Heavenly Parents, we're very grateful to be able to come together, to go through this very special education so that we can really deeply understand your heart, that you are our Heavenly Parent, and through you, your will is for people to understand and recognize about our true parents, and through our true parents, for everyone to recognize and understand the value of the blessing. And through the blessing, we can create the ideal family that you longed for at the very beginning of creation, and that now the kingdom is upon us. We can feel the excitement and expectation that your will is finally being realized, and there are thousands and even millions of members and people around the world who are beginning to acknowledge and to work for you. So we ask that your presence can be here with us as we listen to DrKittel explain more about the divine principle, and in this case, in particular, resurrection. And we ask that our hearts and minds be open so the Spirit of truth can touch us. And I want to pray and report all of this in our names, John and Shizu Admi's a blessed central family. Aju.
Aju. Aju.
Mr. MC, you are supposed to tell me to begin now. Not you.
We're both feeling you. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you've got the right to share your screen. So let's welcome DrKittel as he offers our presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Actually, the person we have to welcome is Mr. Sobey, because if he wasn't here, we would all be doing something else. So thank you.
You have to work very hard for Mr. Sobey. That's
And we enjoy to do that as well. It's our joy to share. So this presentation is especially important. Last time I asked you if the Mandaean community believe in the spiritual world, or if you have had spiritual experiences. This presentation will give an explanation of those spiritual experiences. More importantly, it will highlight your role as the president of the Mandaean community and the responsibility or opportunity that you have and the Mandaean community have to be able to be, I believe, the first religious group to maybe connect directly to true parents. Christians have not done that. Individuals have, and families have, but not a religious body. Muslims individually have, but again, not as a body. So this is an opportunity. And I think you will understand as we go through this, your area of responsibility. I'll talk a little bit about some of the foundational aspect of the spirit world, and then go more into the concept of resurrection. Let us begin. I'm going to hide my, okay, and I'm going to launch. So this presentation is called Resurrection, and it has to deal with the way in which we can be reconnected to God. And let us go into the details. First, let's talk and review about the existence of the spiritual world. 3 questions. Does the spiritual world exist? What is the nature of the spirit world, and how does it relate to me? This I will go quickly because it is a review. The first question, I think you already believe in the spiritual world. The Mandaeans clearly do. And I think almost all religious people have some understanding of an existence beyond the physical life. In the Bible, it says, the Lord God formed man from dust, from the ground, and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and man became a living being. So our essence is not physical. Our essence is spiritual, directly from God. There is growing interest in the spirit world. Even nowadays on some of the major news networks, they're talking about and tracking UFOs. We don't know where they come from, but we have to not rule out the possibility that they also have spiritual existence. This one book by Dr. Raymond Moody called Life After Life. He documented people that had physically died. He's a medical doctor, and some of these people that died came back to life. And then he interviewed them during this period of time when you were medically dead, and then you came back to life. What did you experience? What happened? And he found common elements among these people of being able to travel into the spiritual world, to be able to see their physical body, to listen to conversations that were going on as people were looking at them dead for those few moments they were dead. And then he tracked many, many people and found there were common elements, and on that basis wrote this book. Many examples of what we call ESP, or extrasensory perception, are actually spiritual phenomena. People can see and read our energy, spiritual energy. We call it aura. People can communicate through thought or telepathy. Clairvoyance, where people understand and even talk to the spiritual medium. Psychic healing, mind over matter. There are many, many examples of this. This book that was written by Dr. Eben Alexander, he was a brain surgeon, a trained neurosurgeon who adamantly did not believe in the spiritual world. He thought they were just accelerated kind of emotional states and maybe lack of oxygen going to the brain, and people were just hallucinating. That was his interpretation. Then he was comatose for 6 days with bacterial meningitis. And during that time, he traveled throughout the spiritual world. He had a spiritual guide who took him all over to the highest levels of spiritual world, where there is light and beauty, and into the darkest realms. He came back, wrote this book, and he said that death is not the end of our personal existence, but it's just a transition. Father Moon explains the existence of the spirit world is a very natural way. God has an internal nature. He has a purpose, a desire. In essence, he has a will or a mind. And God has an external form, or we can say an energy, from where energy comes from. We are made in the image of God, so we have mind and body. Again, these two elements. And when we look at the two worlds that exist within this cosmos, there is a spiritual world and a physical world. We say earth and heaven. The earth is within time and space, and heaven is beyond time and space. Father Moon explained this. What is the purpose of the spiritual world? God created the spirit world as humanity's original eternal homeland. So our ultimate final place is in the spiritual world. He talked about the purpose of our physical life on earth. During our life in the limited earthly world, we have the responsibility to perfect our spirit within our body. So again, we have a physical body, and because the physical senses seem to be so strong and the physical world so real, we kind of put the spirit as secondary, but actually the primary part of us is spiritual. We are mostly a spirit in a body. So this means the purpose of the spirit world is for our eternal life and love. If we want love to be eternal, then life must also be eternal. So both of these, and that's our ultimate realm. But God gave us responsibility to bring the principles, the teachings, the knowledge of God in our character and in our relationship. So this is our responsibility. It's a very precious gift from God. And when we fulfill the responsibility, we gain true freedom. So these are the two worlds that we live in. The Bible in Ecclesiastes says, and the dust, the physical body, returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. In the Quran, behold, you prefer the life in this world? But the hereafter is better and more enduring. This is correct. The life in the spirit world is better, more beautiful, and more enduring. It lasts forever. In the Bhagavad Gita, no one can bring an end to the spirit which is everlasting. The eternal in man cannot die. He does not die when the body dies. And in Buddhism, he who knows that this body is the foam of the wave, the shadow of a mirage, he breaks the sharp arrows of Mara. So just understanding the existence of the spirit world and understanding that the spiritual side is more important, that gives us tremendous power to be able to overcome temptations that Satan might give us, because our priorities will be very clear. If we think this physical world is the most important, then we will easily have the philosophy of eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you die and everything's over and it doesn't matter. But when we believe in the spirit world, our priorities and our attitudes change. In Sikhism, man cries over the loss of what he calls his, but know that the self is not perishable. So because of this, Father Moon said we oftentimes cry at the time of funerals, but he said actually it should be a celebration of that person's life, a legacy, almost an autobiography could be read, or the history of these people, and we could all learn from them and honor them. It's the best way to send off people. What is the nature of the spirit world? There are 3 dimensions. It is a microcosm. We are the owner or steward, and we are the mediator. Microcosm means small cosmos. It means all of the characters and qualities of the physical world are within our physical body, and the same thing spiritual world. What does that mean? Well, when God created, he creates and plans the same we do. First he planned, and then he creates. When you build your home, first you have a plan, and then you work hard. So you think hard, and then you work hard. And that's the planning and the creation process. For God, it's the same. So God had a plan. He had a very clear blueprint, and that blueprint was man and woman to be in his image. And so in essence, God is kind of creating, in one sense, himself in giving us his spirit. And then after the image of a perfected man, then God designed the animal world. And after the animal world, the plant world, and after the plant world, then the molecular world. So the designing process went from the most complicated, and it decreased in complexity to the simplest and smallest. And that's the way we plan. We look at the house, and then, well, where are the doors, and where are the windows, and where are the electric, circuits going to be, and we plan the small details. This process was the planning process that God had to create the world, starting with the most complex and then planning different stages of less complexity. In the creation process, it goes in the reverse order. It starts with the simplest, the molecular world, then the plant world, the animal world, and finally us, human beings. So we know that the animal world was designed after human beings because our vocal cords can replicate the sound of other animals. Dogs bark. But a cat cannot bark. A cat can meow, meow, like that. But we can bark and meow and whistle like birds and, moo like cows. But only cows moo and only dogs bark and only birds whistle. So it means all of the potential sounds that we hear around us in the animal world originate from the vocal cords of man. So the animal world was designed after man. It was created before man, but that was simply the creating process after the designing process. Science looks at only the creation process. And so because they negate the planning process, they don't understand that there was a God, and they oftentimes use just random chance and accident, which is actually unscientific. If things need a creative input in order to increase in complexity. And that was what God gave us. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created him. Next, the owner or steward of both worlds. We have a physical body, and we have 5 physical senses. We can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, and we can touch. And with those senses, we can interact and ultimately even have dominion over the physical world. That was by God's design. But the physical world is in the object position. The spirit world is even more, it's a subject position. So we have a spiritual self, and we have 5 spiritual senses. We should be able to see spiritually, hear spiritually, smell spiritually, taste spiritually, and be able to feel spiritually. The same, basically. And we should then take dominion over the spiritual world, even over the angels. Man is higher than the angels. We are now below the angels because we are fallen, but our original position and ultimate status will be even above angels. Because of the fall, we lost the function of these spiritual perceptions, and therefore we don't understand the existence of the spirit world or how big an impact it has on us. We are mediator, very simply. We have both the physical and spiritual worlds combined within us. Angels have a spirit, but they don't have a physical body. Animals have a physical body, but not a spirit. So we have both a physical and spiritual body. The Bible says, do you not know that you are to judge the angels? The judge sits above and therefore judges from a higher position. So our original position is to judge the angels. How does this relate to me? Well, we say you begin a project with the end in mind. You start with the plan. This is the planning stage. If you want to build a house, you plan it, and you plan out all the details, everything. And you think of all of the minute details of that house. Then you work really hard, and you stop working when the house is finished. So you begin with the end in mind. That's the beginning point, and you end when you have finished or fulfilled that ideal. So the end of our life, what happens when we die? Well, everyone is asking that question. What happens after I die? Because that's the end of our life. The spirit self needs the physical body. I hope that doesn't continue. I think I have to go back and start that again, otherwise we'll hear that noise the whole time. Okay. Okay. The spirit self needs the physical body to grow. This is now getting really important, and some of the new elements that Father Moon has added to this. Father Moon was able to go into the spiritual world. His spiritual senses were completely open. He could go to the spirit world, talk to the saints and sages in the spiritual world, and understand how the spiritual world functions and its relationship to the physical world. So this is not from a theory, but this is from Father Moon's actual experiences in the spiritual world. It is sown a physical body, and it is raised a spiritual body. Again, the physical body, the purpose of the physical body is to nurture and perfect our spirit. Jesus said, I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So the good habits that we create in our physical life, we carry those with us in the spirit world. The bad habits that we create in our physical life, we carry those with us in the spiritual world as well. Every soul is responsible for its own actions. No soul will bear the burden of another, says Islam. His body is nourished by food, said Buddha. His spirit is nourished by teaching and experience. A man leaves an old garment and puts on a new one. The spirit leaves the mortal body and then puts on one that is new. Deal only in the commodities which will accompany you after death. So our focus should not be just to gain wealth and material prosperity and fame and fortune, but develop the spiritual qualities that we take with us when we go to the spirit world. There are two wombs that we live in before we transition to the spiritual world. The first is the womb inside our mother. It's an environment of liquid, and we live there about 9 months. The purpose is preparation for the physical world. So every mother knows that the basic elements and functions of the physical body, the eyes, the ears, the breathing, everything needs to develop during this 9 months. Yes, it takes about 20 years to fully develop after the child is born, but if there is a deficiency in the womb, then that is a really big problem. So we are preparing the physical body in the first womb. In the second womb, we are meant to prepare our spiritual body, and we cannot do that alone. That's why in this world we need to marry. We should get married and we should have children, because the development of our heart is based on experiencing these realms of love, the love of marriage, the love of parents, the love of children, the love of brothers and sisters. We live in the earthly world. It's our second womb. The environment is air, and we live here about 90 years. Our third and final home, our eternal home, is in the spiritual world. So in order to live well in the spiritual world, we need to develop our spiritual capabilities while we are on earth. Just as if a baby is deformed physically, that baby will be handicapped in the physical world. So also, if we are not developed spiritually in our capability to give and receive love, then we will be handicapped in the spiritual world. It's that serious. So people need to put more emphasis on the physical world. It is a very important, it's not meant to be eternal, but it has a very, very important function because it prepares us for our eternal life in the spiritual world, where we live in an environment of love forever. We've talked about the 3 great blessings, and in this world, we're meant to develop our character, learning to live for others. The mind and body relationship needs to be aligned, and we develop our character. Then we develop our love through the marriage ceremony, where the 4 loves are born and lived and experienced. And then we need to develop a heavenly environment, both physically and spiritually, in order to prepare for our life in the spiritual world. In the spiritual development, there are 3 stages of spiritual development. We call the first is form spirit. And that's when we learn, especially to receive love, the children, like a children's love. And then brother and sister love is like a sharing of love. And we call that the life spirit. And then the final is a giving of love, divine love or parental love. And these three stages of spiritual development need to take place on earth in the family. The environment for spiritual growth, the soil for our spirit to grow is the family. And that's why it's so much important. And the Mandaeans also put tremendous importance on marriage and family and purity. It's for good reason that they do. It represents this element of knowledge that they have that has somehow led them and really protected them as a community in very difficult situations. So we need to teach young people. Without believing in or knowing the spirit world, it is easy to become selfish. We may easily think, eat, drink, and be merry, tomorrow I die. But someone understands and experiences the spirit world, this concept vanishes very quickly. Suicidal thoughts among young people. If I end my life, then my problems will be solved. No, they won't, because you take your problems with you to the spirit world, and they become more complicated because you're not able to solve them as easily as you can, and we'll talk about it in the second part of this presentation. So young people need to know the existence of the spirit world in order to stop this foolish, unprincipled way of thinking. If I do not believe in the spirit world, it is easy to think this way. I just end my life and my problems are solved. Sometimes people feel their problems are so big, even bigger than life itself. Well, let's just end life and end my problems. It does not work like that. Conclusion, we need to live lives of goodness and true love rooted in the family because we are preparing to live in the spirit world forever. Father Moon said the spirit world does actually exist. It is not a world that has been fantasized or imagined into existence. We do not have the right to choose. It's not our right. It is not a world that we can go to if we please or refuse to go to if we would rather not. We don't have a choice. So we need this knowledge in order to help guide us through this life on earth. The meaning of resurrection, the literal meaning of resurrection means to rise from the dead, to come back to life. Many religions believe that people will rise from the dead, and some of them believe that this resurrection will even take place physically, that dead people buried in the ground for hundreds of years will somehow come back to physical life. That's a common belief, but Father Moon said that's not correct. This is why he explains that. Life and death. Religious scriptures have two meanings to life and two meanings to death. So, a man said to Jesus, I will follow you wherever you go, but first, let me go and bury my father. To which Jesus replied, let the dead bury their own dead. So clearly, he's using the word dead in two different meanings. Let the dead bury their own dead. So the dead people are going to bury the dead people. So one are spiritually dead and the other is physically dead. So let the spiritually dead people who have the wrong priority, who are not following me, go and bury the physically dead people. But they, for whom I am the end supreme in Hinduism, I very soon deliver from this ocean of death, life in death, because they have set their hearts on me. So according to the Hindu scripture, when we set our heart and mind on God, then we are able to go beyond this life of death that we were born into, again, because of the fall. Our Lord, twice hast thou made us die, and twice hast thou made us live, says the Quran. Watchfulness, says Buddha, is the path of immortality. Unwatchfulness, unawareness, is the path of death. Those who are watchful never die. those who do not watch are already dead. Again, the concept of life and death. So we can see physical life and death. We know what that means. Well, if I can stand and my heart is beating, the person on the left, I am physically alive. If that stops and we get the flat line on the monitor in the hospital, then we are physically dead. They put us in a box and bury us. But more important than that is this concept of spiritual life and death. Spiritual life, which actually is the most important, means my mind and body are ordered in the right priority and centered on God. I then create my character, and with that character that is godly and good, I can create loving relationships that are also godly and good. If my mind and body are inverted and not aligned correctly, then how can I create good relationships? It's not possible. That is the most important, and that's what we need to resurrect, because the other one, spiritual death, is a result of the fall. It means our mind and body are not centered on God, but centered on Satan, and as a result, man had fallen. So it's this resurrection that needs to take place. Looking at the big picture, if our first human ancestors, Adam and Eve, had kept faith in God and kept their purity, then they would have established the three blessings. The lineage of God would have been established on earth. The lineage, the culture, everything. That was God's original ideal. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and instead, the fall of man took place, and the lineage of evil centered on the archangel Satan came about. So, the consequence of the fall, well, we're supposed to live for others, is the dual purpose principle, and we have the pair system, the honor of marriage, where man and woman become one and center their love on God. We lost the standard of goodness individual, that's our first problem, and we lost the standard of true love. So, as we've mentioned, we have two minds and two lineages. These are the problems. So we need to go back to the original position. If someone is drowning in a lake or a river or the ocean or even a swimming pool, well, they will yell, "Help, help, help," and a lifeguard will come. And the lifeguard will run out to rescue this person. And they will bring them back to the shore and take them on the bank and give them CPR, or artificial, artificial, what's the word? Artificial, I'm thinking, yeah, I was thinking insemination. I knew that wasn't right.
Resuscitation, I think.
Resuscitation. Okay, I lost the word there.
German is different.
Don't worry, that happens to us too.
So to save this person means you are bringing them back to their original condition and position before they were drowning. That's what to save means. So the resurrection that we are talking about means restoration. It means salvation. It means bringing us back from the fallen position under Satan's dominion back to our original position and home under God's dominion. So this is restoration or resurrection. We will go back to that original idea. Essentially, to leave Satan's dominion and return to God's dominion. So the principles that operate, the principles of creation, God did not violate his principles, so he can still use them. And so the principles of creation are the principles of restoration. God is absolute, eternal, and unchanging. So his principles are also absolute, eternal, and unchanging. And this means that the principles of resurrection are the same. It's the same set of principles. God cannot create a new set of principles for restoration or resurrection, because he can't violate his own principles. If he had to create a new set of principles, then automatically he would have to recognize the fall, and Satan, who is causing God to create these new principles, would be a co-creator, because he would be the co-author of these principles. So the original principles are used in the process of restoration and resurrection. Let's first look at resurrection of people living on earth. We have a physical self and a spiritual self. And the purpose of our physical life is to build, or we can say even restore, our spiritual self. In order for the physical body to grow, it has positive elements without form, air, and sunlight. And we have negative elements with form, substance, like food and water. And we need both of these to grow. We need to eat healthy food, exercise, breathe, and get lots of sunlight, and our physical body will grow. For our spirit to grow, again, we need positive and negative elements. The positive elements are the life and the love of God, God's teaching, God's truth, God's word, God's light that comes to us. And that, we understand that and is transferred to our physical body through like understanding or inspiration. We call them spiritual life elements. Then the question is, where do the vitality elements come from? Because they are equally important and need to complement the love and truth from God. Our physical life, we have one physical life. We do not enter and cannot be reborn again. We have only one physical life, period. There is no concept of reincarnation. It doesn't happen. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Our spirit is eternal. Our physical is temporary, and it's one life. So, as we said, we need God's truth, God's word, His knowledge, His love, His life, and that comes to us from the spiritual self to the physical self to give us inspiration and ideas and vision and courage and things like that. Then we need to act on that. We may have a spiritual experience of some nature, but if we don't act on it, it will just vanish and we will forget it. So our action, this is our responsibility, is very important. Why? This is the relationship between the vine and the fruit. The purpose of the vine is to nourish the fruit. So you cannot have a healthy fruit without a healthy vine. But you don't harvest the vine, you harvest the fruit. So the physical body is like the vine. Its purpose is to nourish the spiritual body. And that is where the vitality elements come, based on the actions of the physical body. So our physical body is important, our action and responsibility is important. Not only do we need God's love and truth, and God's light and God's word, but we must act on it. That is our responsibility. And when those two come together, the life elements and the vitality elements, then we can grow spiritually. Father Moon said, before you pass on to the next world, you should achieve harmony between your physical body and spirit body by living your earthly life in such a way that you meet the standards of both the physical and spiritual worlds. In other words, you have been given the responsibility to perfect your spirit within your physical body on the basis of your finite life in the tangible physical world. This does not mean that perfection of your spirit self happens automatically. No, we have responsibility. Benjamin Franklin, who was one of the founders of America, signers of the Declaration of Independence. A man is not completely born until he is dead. We only have this body on loan in order that we may experience joy or to support our acquisition of knowledge or to be of use when we wish to do something good. This is a kind of benevolent act of God. This is correct. So our spiritual growth goes through these three stages. We've talked about them, the form spirit, life spirit, and divine spirit. While we are on earth, this is a spiritual growth taking place on earth. And these levels of the spirit world we call the form level of spirit world. The life spirit is called paradise, and the divine spirit is called heaven. That should have been, let me go back, that was the original plan of God. If man had not fallen, this could have gone very quickly, and we would have had the first perfected man and woman in the Garden of Eden, our ancestors, Adam and Eve. But that didn't happen. We know that. Sadly, the fall took place at the top of the growth stage. This means that man fell, and he fell below the level where he was originally created, in an unprincipled realm. So man begins his process of resurrection, or his path to rebuild his relationship with God, by offering things that are more valuable than him, animal sacrifices, for example. And man's position is a servant of servant, and he is in hell. So we created hell. Along with the fallen angelic world, hell was created on earth, and at the same time, hell was created in the spiritual world. But we have that responsibility. In the first stage of developing back into the realm of principled action, we have the age of law, or we call the form stage spirit world. The age of law, where we enter the position of servant to God. And in this case, the most basic law is learning to live for the sake of others. When that learning to live for others becomes our habit, then we graduate, or we can go beyond that realm of law into the realm of faith, and our position changes as adopted son, and we enter into the realm of paradise. In both of these cases, we are still individual people. In order to enter the highest level of spirit world, we call it the age of attendance, where we become a true child of God. We need to do this as a married couple, because that was originally God's ideal, and the experience of love requires husband and wife. So this is the process that has been going on for thousands and thousands of years over on earth, here on earth. Let's look at what has happened. The first was the age of law. When the age of law opened up, God will send religions. And in this case, let's use the example of the Old Testament and Moses. They opened up the age of law. So people that practiced the law on earth, when they die, they can go to the highest level as the top of the formation stage, the age of law in the spirit world. They want to go higher, but they can't because they don't have a physical body. God will open up a new age on earth, call it the age of faith. We can say this is the time when Jesus came, a new providence was opening. John the Baptist and Jesus were to work together to open up this age. And these people that practice this level of faith on earth, when they die, they can go to a higher level in the spirit world. So the people of the age of law will come back, work together with the people who are living on earth, who opened up a new age of faith, and then together with them go into the higher realms of spirit world, the growth stage. But still more needs to come. Those people that have reached the top of the growth stage will want to go higher. They cannot, because they do not have the physical body and no source of vitality elements. So God will first open up the age of attendance on earth. The people in the spirit world that have reached the highest level, the top of the growth stage, they will return, cooperate, and work together with those who open up this age of attendance, and then go into the spirit world together with them. So this is how resurrection occurs over thousands and thousands of years through the history of religion on earth. Resurrection of spirits in the spirit world. Let me explain about the concept of reincarnation. We do not believe in reincarnation, but many people do, so it's important to explain the concept, because it is so oftentimes an idea that people will adhere to. Let's take, for example, Mr. John. And Mr. John is living on earth, and then suddenly he speaks about events that were 100 years ago. And somebody records his voice and takes note of what he's talking about, and they check it, and it's true that what he is saying that happened 100 years ago actually happened. And so people will say, well, how is this? How is it possible? The explanation is, well, that 100 years ago, Mr. Tim lived, and then Mr. Tim lived before and now is reincarnated to Mr. John. That is not correct, because we have only one physical life. So this explanation Father Moon rejected. We have one physical life. Each person has one physical life. We cannot come back and be reborn again as another person. But we have to explain this phenomena. So this is Father Moon's explanation. Let's say Mr. Tim lived 100 years ago. Well, at that time, he had both a physical self and a spiritual self. Then his physical self died, and his spirit self entered into the spiritual realm. And now, in the spirit self of Mr. Tim, these are the memories of the experiences that he has on earth. He carries those memories with him. He wants to go higher into the spiritual realm, but he cannot. He does not have a physical body, no vitality elements. He is stuck. What can he do? Well, he needs to find someone on earth, Mr. John, whom he can relate to. Oftentimes, it's family, or it might be a sincere interest in a particular field, music or art or math, and it might be even within the common religion is as well, a common point of connection. So you have to find some connection, some way to connect to someone on earth. And then Mr. Tim, who is now only a spirit, will come back to earth spiritually. And Mr. John may not even see him because he can't see spiritually. But Mr. Tim will be there. The important thing is that they cooperate together. Mr. Tim will support and cooperate Mr. John and help him to lead a good life. And so because of this spiritual cooperation that is taking place, even without Mr. John knowing it or seeing Mr. Tim, then the merit comes to both of them from the physical body. The vitality elements of the physical body can be shared with both of them. So when Mr. John dies, now the spirit of Mr. Tim and the spirit of Mr. John can go into a higher level of spiritual world. So this is the phenomenon that is happening. If we put all of this together, Father Moon calls this return and resurrection. And that's the process of spiritual resurrection from a spiritual perspective, from the spirit world perspective. They need to return, cooperate, and work together. So in your case, I believe the Mandaeans have a very strong connection with their spiritual ancestors in the spirit world. The fact that you keep their names and lineages and pray to them and work with them, that is a very strong connection. So I'm sure there must be many spiritual experiences that you and all of the Mandaeans have. I'm sure they have that because I hear you talking.
Yes.
So let's conclude, and we'll talk about the unification of religions through this process of return and resurrection. Every religion is expecting a messianic figure. Confucianism, it's the true man. Buddhism, it's the Maitreya. Hinduism, it's the Kalki avatar. Islam, it's the Imam Mahdi, and even they also talk about the return of Jesus. In Judaism, it's Messiah, and in Christianity, it is the second coming. So Father Moon said, these expectations God has created within these religions. God created many different religions because of the geographical separation of people. Deserts separated people, mountains separated, oceans, rivers. But God's heart is to save all people, so he will raise up people, even different religions, but there are common elements to them. This is one of the many common elements of all the religions. Many religious beliefs guided the spirit realm of humanity. The Christian culture that blossomed in the Italian peninsula, the Hindu culture and philosophy in India, the Islamic culture from the Arabian Peninsula, Buddhist culture that was born fruit in the peninsula of Southeast Asia. So what happens? For a Christian in the spirit world, that's the first circle on the left, they will come spiritually and work with Christians on the physical world. And they will try to guide the Christians to what they believe is the Lord of the Second Advent. That's the term they use, naturally. Muslims won't use that term. Muslims in the spirit world will come and work with Muslims on earth and guide them to the Imam Mahdi. That's how they will see it. Buddhists in the spirit world will come and work with Buddhists on earth and guide them to the Maitreya Buddha. And Hindus in the spirit world will guide Hindus on earth to the Avatar. People of conscience in the spirit world will guide people of conscience on earth to find the true man, the Confucian concept of a true man, someone who is honorable and true. And evil people in the spirit world will guide evil people on earth to find a scapegoat. Well, if you connect to him, you can benefit from his sacrifice and suffering. So we can't use any of these terms. And so God has given Father and Mother Moon this mission, and he gave them the new term, true parents, which brings together the concepts of all of these religious leaders, what they are trying to do. This is what we're looking for. True parents, true teacher, true owner, and true parent. Father Moon said this: there are numerous religions in the world. In accordance with the standards of the different cultures and national backgrounds, God established religions to gather people together. Religions have the desire to save the world. God also has desires to save the world. Religions other than those that try to save the world do not last long. So this is Father Moon's concept of how these religions will work together, ultimately coming together through this concept of the original true parent, because that was the original ideal at the beginning of creation. God wanted Adam and Eve to be the true parent and establish one lineage connected to God on earth. That was broken because of the fall, because Satan intervened and deceived the first human ancestors. They also had a responsibility not to cultivate their relationship with God, their knowledge of God's love, of God's law, of God's truth, and that was also their responsibility. So thank you very much. I did go longer than the allotted time, but I think we have time and it's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
This was very nice. Yeah, John wants to speak.
So we can open it up to some questions and answers. We have lots of chatter with the mics.
Oh, good.
So let's make chatter amongst ourselves, not just the mics.
The voice is not good.
Quite a bit of feedback there.
Yeah.
How can we manage this? Do we want one person speaking and all the others turn off their mic? That might work, right?
I'm going to go back and forth, so I can't hear well. And then I will unplug when I speak, but I can't hear well.
When Dr. Walsh, when Dr. Kittel speaks, it's clear. But when you speak, John, it was just not clear.
Now, okay, because this is from the Dr. Kittel's mic.
Okay.
Now he connected. Okay.
Was
it can you hear
the whole time I was speaking?
No, it was very good. We can hear you very well. It was perfect. Perfect. But now, can you hear us when we talk?
Yes.
Good. Dr. Kittel, this feedback, this explanation was fantastic. Can you hear, Dr. Kittel?
Yes.
Good. Very important. A lot of things is being connected with the Mandaean religion, 100%. And very important thing, very important part, Dr. Father Moon, when he said, there is no come back from death, which is, we believe in that 100%. There is nothing like that. We believe, yes, people who is here, they all go after. At last, they all go. But when no one can come and pick them up or something like this, the spirit itself, because we have spirit and we have life, two things. Same Father Moon. Father Moon, when he is a, he's a genius or Mandaean background, as I say always, because Mandaean is 500,000 years ago, first of a creation in this world. Believe me, a lot of things when I see from him, it's giving me more strength to be more Mandaean. Like there is something connecting, honestly. You will see by the years, I hope you will see a lot of things. Because whatever he said, it is more Mandaean, 100%. No one in this earth knows. No religion knows. Not the Muslim knows, not the Christian knows, not the Jewish knows. No. You need a special person to be that rude. No one knows. God knows. I don't know, but that's what I say from my heart, and I know. The way he said it, just right. I couldn't say no because it is same. Like I know it is my religion. It's same his word. It is in my heart. See, otherwise I will say no, or that's not right. That's not correct. This is something like that. I can't talk, but no. Whatever he said, Father Moon, is just the right word. Honestly, DrKittel and everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Honestly, there is some connection. I don't know, but I will find out. Yesterday, I was talking to Professor Saadi, my cousin. He sent you a very good regard to all of you, to everybody, And then we are doing the Mandaean, what they call it, the Mandaean child. It's a special book to read our language, the Mandaean language. And then I was talking to him, and I said the other day they're putting our sign, the Darabsha, with the Muslim and Christian and all these kind of things. Yes, he's doing another book now, also about Father Moon. He picked the right words, and and I said I will support it as much as you want. Just do it, please. It's going to take long time to finish, but he do subject complete, and then he put Father Moon in that subject to support it. Yeah.
This author, this person is a Mandaean, the author?
Yes. Wow. Mandaean, this one is Professor Qais Al-Saadi. He know you. He know he was there.
DrKittel.
Yes.
Dr. Saadi, who Mr. Sobhi is talking about, he has attended many of our international events. I met him maybe 10 years ago first, and then again at different events. And I found out he's Mandaean because I knew Rabbi Hatham. So we started up talking and friendship. And then through this Dr. Sayed, when Mr. Sobhi wanted to become an ambassador for peace, he said, contact me, because Mr. Sobhi lives most of the time you're in Australia, right? Not in Germany. So he said, best place to become an ambassador for peace is Australia. That's when he phoned me. So Mr. Saadi gave Mr. Sobhi my phone number.
Yeah.
So that's the man.
Mr. Saadi lives in Germany.
He's in Germany.
He's in Germany, Stuttgart. Yeah.
He's an ambassador for peace.
That's another one I'm talking about, not the one, because we have a very good selection of in the future, we are working, but we don't want to show now things.
Yeah.
Things come bit by bit, as Mr. Stone says, step by step. God, if he wants, he will do things bit by bit. But mainly, as I said, things come by itself. Like we talked yesterday, he said, I got a book, Mrs. Sobhi, and I want you to put that book in your name to, to spend for, we spend thousands and thousands, a lot of money for it. So I said, yes, go ahead and do it. And then he said, he said, Father Moon on the wall. Father Fuad for Mandayan, he said.
Wow,
So I said, okay, because they're going to write in that book, Father Fuad or Grandfather Fuad. And they, send it to the whole world to teach the children, about, the Mandayan religion, Mandayan writing and reading, and it's a very good thing, actually. Yeah. So, and then we talked, and he said, yes. I said, I said, blah, blah, blah. He said, yes, I am writing a book now, but I am interfering Father Moon in it. I said, very good. Please. This is very great thing. Like he took the whole, like, a big subject. He's a professor, he's a specialist in these things. And then he add, like I said, this is great. What do you want from me? I support it, please. He said, okay, but it takes time. I said, no problem, take your time. So this is very good. And once, one day we will meet together again, one day, we don't have to rush now. No need to rushing, but we will. We'll be very happy from Mandayan. Honestly, especially Dr. Young, DrKittel, and all the UPF. Yeah, because it's the same our way, that's the way, the same thing, Yeah. So as he said, Mrs. Sobi, you are the petrol and I am the car. That's what he told me. Yeah. So he said, just put petrol on me and I move. I said, okay, I will give you petrol as you want. So no problem. That's what he said. Yeah. And then I told him we're going to meet one day, Mother Moon. I said, don't say it to no one. This is between you and me. We're going to meet Mother Moon sometime. And then that's what happened, she asked for something. I said, great, this is a very good thing.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so things will go very good, I think. And then, DrKittel, we go back to, your explanation about the religion. Yes, we have like spirit and we have life. And then there are two different things. We go from here, that's finished. The life will stay live. You clean enough, early you go up. A lot of people, they stay here in this darkness, a lot of them, because they are not, I don't know why, they are not 100% good, not 100%, very bad maybe. They haven't done something good in this life. So they will stay. It's too difficult to go. But with our religion, in 40 days, we reach the light up. That's it, no doubt. And then, again, DrKittel, before I forgot, we do a lot of things like here, for example, food, everything, they go to them, and their names, and the special days, very clean day, Al-Banja, the creation, world, and that particularly days, the most cleanest days in the earth. And this is like, they didn't calculate, they don't calculate it from our life, actually. So we do their, bring their name, the mother, of course, their name and their mother, because, the father, not like that. They said, like for me, for example, Yahya Baryasman. They call me, I'm Yahya. It's mean Jesus, his cousin, John, yeah. Like John, son of Jasmine, like this. And they call our name. It's a beautiful thing. You will know all this bit by bit. I hope so. And I will talk to, Dr. Al-Saadi also to send some boxes. And I am preparing some, like a lot of things. It's a very same way, good way, not like I may have another religion and then I want to come to be, with Father Moon. No, the same. We already Father Moon. Already. So. Because the same thing. I couldn't see anything different. I couldn't see anything different.
Also, what you just explained of kind of sharing food with your ancestors, special days for them, and yes. Doing things for them.
Yes.
Really, this is also Korean in shamanism in Korea.
I've
Exactly
seen-
the same thing. Exactly. You must have seen that in Korea.
DrKittel, I've seen Mother Moon, you know, for the Father Moon, whatever, you know, the his anniversary for when he passed away.
Yeah, somewhat,
Yeah,
yeah.
they put in something. I've seen something
Yeah.
like same, even the pot, the same thing. We do it like from, of course, from mad has to be like, you know, pure, but more or less the same. The marriage, for example, as he said, Father Moon, the marriage. If you don't marry, you are not complete. You have to marry. You have to create. You have to do children. Without this, you are not yet.
Yes.
So it's a lot of things.
Yes.
Honestly, therefore I love you all, and I love. And I love yes, I love Father Moon, Mother Moon, you all, and the people he is selecting is the top people, good people, you know, good system. The system in UPF, it is the best system in this global. No United Nations, as you know, I've been many times United Nations.
Right.
I got a lot of, you know, like president, kings, everywhere, friends I have, because I'm with everybody all my life. But the system UPF, it's nothing like it in this world, believe me. And one day, again, I say this, we will lead the world in good faith. We lead the world in good spirit, with good love. And we will see. And I hope God will give us, you know, to stay. We don't want to go now, but we want to go when we see. We have to see what we have achieved.
Yes.
Yes, sir. It will be. It will be. Yes. God bless you. Thank you very much. I'm very beautiful now. Yeah.
Did Professor
we not only do we feed our ancestors and have holy days, we actually bless them for 430 generations.
Yes.
This is what Father
Yes.
Moon was talking about, or not,
Well,
not Father Moon, Dr. Yong was talking
Yes.
about this blessing ceremony, and then they can benefit from that. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Same. It's very good, excellent. Same thing, like 400 and something generation. It's mean, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
Same, like how we choose now our, for example, like Rishat Imma Salah. What do you call? You call him like bishop, whatever, but he's higher, much higher.
Yeah.
For example, they choose him. They goes back to his family. Like I said, for me, I know my 32 family. Well, this is already, it's 42, I mean, generation, whatever, like, you know, 4,000 to 3,000 years.
Amazing.
But the people you choose, the Mandaean, to baptize us, to be a religion person, you have to go back all the way. There's a memory, all these people, they write, you know, because it's not easy, like, you know, before. We have even the book in, not brass, the, very old book written. That's in New York. You know, I will go. You know, when it's finished, I'll go. I'll take Dr. Young and we'll go and see it. It's from the lead. The lead they have to do it. You know, because they couldn't. There's no paper, no brown lead. They do it punching. You know,
Typesetting, yes.
So same thing. This is great. I can't believe this. Believe me, I'm telling everybody about it. I cannot. But I did now, whatever you're teaching us, whatever we listen now, it is the same one, same. It's no different. No different. So that's great. So better to teach more and talk about it more, so we don't forget, because the human is, they forgot. Yeah, but even me, I like, you know, if I don't listen more and more, I forgot. Simple as that. And then Mandaean is too small, and they're getting here now. They're coming to the, you know, this Western world. You know how it is. It's not easy.
Yes.
They are getting bit by bit crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, trouble. It's not easy.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
John was going to say something. John, sorry,
Please.
I interrupted you.
Actually, I think it was Greg, because he was in the side.
All right. Greg?
Were you going?
Oh no, I was just saying that Professor El Said your cousin,
Yes,
he's the one who translated
the
The,
Ganzarabba.
Ganzarabba, the book that you got. The professor who translated it is this man who's an ambassador for peace in Germany, who is
Wow.
Mr. Sobi's cousin,
Yes,
and who Mr. Sobi was just talking about. That's the same man.
yes, same one. Yes.
He's a professor of, like, I guess, language and
Yes, he's language and then history, and
language
yeah,
and
yeah.
history,
He used to teach in. He is a teacher in Stuttgart University.
Okay.
Yeah, Stuttgart. Yeah, we have a lot of things, but this is one of the best, I think, because 2 days ago he has a meeting like with the religions. They call it religions something, and then they ask. I don't know what they call himself in Arabic. He was from Egypt, and they have a like broadcast, like TV broadcast, something like that. They talk to him about the Mandaean religions. They say every religion they got like connect. For example, the Jewish, and then Christian, and then Muslim, and then there is something. What about Mandaean? He translated to them. He explained it first time in my life. In my life, even me now, I am stronger Mandaean when I listen to his explanation, because even our religion people, they cannot. It's like chain is been missing there. So he hooked the chain from Adam and Eve, from today, and then back to Adam and Eve. Perfect. When I say I say yes, it's mean not easy, not like when I say yes, it's mean yes. Like first time I called him yesterday, that was we talking about all these book and something about Father Moon and about UPF and all kind of these things. So I was so happy. First time, even me, well, I was sent it around the world, of course, all our children, grandchildren. I know it's in Arabic, it's difficult, but I'm going to translate it in English. I talked to him. I said I want to put it in a book, and then I will, give it to the world. First time, it tell you Mandaean how begin 100%. No one can explain this. Too difficult, because we are a small nation, being all gone, like millions and millions of people over these hundreds, thousands of years. They're all gone. Little now, 100,000, no more than 100,000, 60,000, 7, 8, maximum 100,000 people around the world. But he connected, which is very good. And I told him that, UPF, they put my, the Darafsha, my sign, and then I'm talking to them. They are, giving me every day. I'm talking to them now. DrKittel is doing the, explaining, about the Father Moon and then UPF, and I am going to be with them 100%. So he's very glad.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Wow.
But I don't, I told him only, because I trust him. He's a so good person. Yeah. And then he said, yes, one day we go together. I said, yes, we go together. One day I hope, this, the COVID-19 will be finished so we can see everybody face to face, like olden beautiful days. Yes. And then the life is dream, of course.
Thank you. So this 28th is the election, yes?
Yes, our election 28. A lot of people, they're coming to be, they want my position. It's very good. I'm very glad, we have these people, they come. But we'll see, because it is not up to us. The people of Mandaean around the world, they'll decide. First the associations, and then the people, the people itself. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I told them, if anyone to come, you most welcome. I will be with you, and I work with you together. No problem. Yeah, but I don't care because I have UPF now.
No, but I think they see you.
No, not like that. I never finished from Mandaean, never in my life. Yeah.
Amala, do you have any comments or on this? I'd like to hear. Your first time to join us. Thank you.
Well, I'm really inspired to hear all of this. And I think the reason is why the teaching is the same is because the truth, the reality is the same, right? God created this universe, and as we experience and understand God's creation and his principles, we have the same experience, and we try to verbalize it or explain it then in the same way. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And also I think you mentioned something like everything comes in its own time. And I think this is also the time where we can meet each other. I believe there's some spiritual guidance behind it. You know, there's God behind it, bringing us together at the right time. And when I heard that your cousin is in Stuttgart, I was very happy.
Yeah, he can contact you. Yeah, excellent.
So maybe our UPF in Germany is doing some good work.
Yes.
Finding good peace ambassadors so we can all work together.
Yeah, of course. Not only Dr. Saadi, we have a lot of good people in Germany I can introduce, and then I talk about you, and then yeah, we will do. Fine, that's great. Yeah. See, this is Father Moon. When he said we are one family under God, that's what he means. See, because we have family everywhere. You see, yes. Family in Germany, you are in Germany. Family in America, and Australia, and then Korea, Japan, everywhere. Oh, Japan. Yeah, so we don't have. There's a meaning for it. And actually, I write something here. Now you remind me, because the God question how he protecting us. See, when we done the ceremony to make a bishop in my house here, of course, because they coming and we have a lot of land here, big lands. So they coming people. First of all, some people they come, they say, how are we going to do it? We may get snake here, bite, or maybe we get mosquito, we get this and we get that. They made it too hard. I said, listen, for me, no problem. Everything is, my house, my heart is open for you. Everybody wants to come. They say 5,000 people, 3,000 people every night. It's 8 nights. It's a big deal. I said, this is me. This is open. You want? And then when we ask Bishop Salah, he is the most important person in this world, as I know. He's a very, very polite, very good man. This bishop is so class person, cannot believe. I think you meet him, DrKittel, he meet him at the Mendi the other day with you, Dr. Young and Mr. Taco and Mr. John. I said, what do you think? How are we going to bring the people here? He said, why are you worried? I said, I'm not worried. People, they ask me, they say, maybe snake, maybe mosquito biting. And every time, even us, daily normal, we cannot go evening time here because it's too much mosquito, as you know, Australia. So much, mosquito and this thing. Believe me, for 8 days, it was like a real marriage. Even not one mosquito, but even the mosquito gone. Honestly to God. Can you believe this? Every night we had like 3,000 to 5,000 people, almost 8 by 3, 24, that's about 30,000 people. No small incidents, no problems. Everyone was smooth and beautiful and happy, and not one mosquito. Where is the mosquito gone? I said to my wife, I said, we don't have mosquito anymore. She said, you don't want that? I said, yes, I want that. But that happened. So people cannot talk. It was because we're creating, a bishop for God. And this is marriage of God. It's a big thing. So God always with us, always with you. You be the right person, God will give you always what you need. This God is here in us. We are. It's inside us. So therefore, we meet now together. that for. We know now, even me, 1 million years maybe, how I know Father Moon? Never. You know, I would never. Father Moon, Mother Moon. How should I never.
Yeah.
But by God, he wanted. This is from him. He comes to Mr. Gregory Stone. They want to give me an ambassador of peace in Germany. And they say, no, there is a gentleman here and there is here. And you have, you know, like ambassador of peace in Australia. So you can get it there. They ring Mr. Stone. And then they give me his telephone number. I ring him up. And then, you know, that's it. See, this is all from God. Honestly. And we work for God. We work for the good things in this life. For peace. Yes. For love.
Thank you.
God bless you all.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And especially, yes, for her.
Amazing.
So, Asilia, we call you Asilia better or Harry? Ahara. Which name? Ahara better? Ahara.
Ahara is easy.
Ahara is easy. Okay. Ahara. Yes, yes. Ahara. Okay. Ahara.
I need to leave in about 5 minutes, so
Yeah,
just heads up
I
to
think we
people.
need to organise our next meeting date, because you mentioned the other week, Mr. Sorby, that you wanted to do faster, so you can be ready to go see Mother at any time. So, like you were.
I can't wait to see Mother.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Mother.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know. I need nothing but the love in my heart. You hear me, John?
Yep.
What did I say? What did I say?
The love in your heart.
Yes. But I need nothing. I need, yes, the love in my heart only. Yes. It's true.
Yes. So we want to keep sharing the love. You mentioned last time you were thinking about doing every 2 days, but since the election's on Sunday, how soon after Sunday do you want to start doing? Do you want to do from Monday? Do you want to do from Tuesday?
No, because 28 will be finished.
Yeah.
And then 29, we have this month finish. I think 28 we have, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we will be very, very busy.
Yes.
I have to meet people. I know they're gonna, maybe, you know, they're gonna elect me. I'm gonna be a lot with the, you know, meeting with the people.
Okay.
But say we do it like in what?
When would be good for you? Maybe
28. Which day will be?
28 Monday. The 4th is Thursday next week. I mean, literally, so far we've been doing every Thursday.
And then we do it like every twice a week, and then we.
Yeah. So from when do you want to start doing?
And you sure the road will be open? Are you sure this we can fly?
Miracles always happen.
Yes, we get ready. Yes.
So there's what about, well, the next Thursday is the 4th,
Yeah.
but you'll be busy 1, 2, 3.
Please, I'm not sure for but even I will call today.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you know also, you know, what happened in the 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So possibly 4th, but if Mr. Sobby's busy, we'll make it as soon after that, and we'll let you know.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll let you know very quick. Tonight we know, you know, like. Yeah. So, Ohara, how are you doing? Good. Good to see you.
Yes,
Good to see
we
you.
are so happy. We are now back in Asia, in Thailand.
You are in Thailand now. Excellent.
Yeah, we finally, Thailand opened the borders so we could come back from Europe.
Good, excellent. That's good. I wish we opened the border here because I have a lot to do outside, a lot of things. And then, yeah, of course, let's see, you know, first maybe we're going to visit Mother Moon and then we'll go. I have lots of things, you know, I'm praying day and night because it's affecting, you know, a lot of our business and then relationship overseas, a lot. Yeah. But when they open, it's going to be, you know, it's coming. So you have the vaccine or not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Thailand is very slow with the vaccine because they have very few cases compared to other countries.
Yes. But it is good because my nieces in Germany, they already took, vaccine. Yeah, we have a big family in Germany, of course, yeah, and then most of them they had the vaccine 1 shot, some of them 2 shot. It's good, yeah, getting good. So yes, I think Dr. Kittel, yeah.
I need to leave, if I may,
Yes.
with your permission, Mr. Sobi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very kind. God bless you.
Thank you.
John and Greg. Ahara.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Let me
you.
know. Keep me informed of the next date. I think next time the presentation is who? I think it's Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Sobi.
So I also have another meeting, so I say goodbye, but I was so happy to see you all, and especially.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very kind. That's very good, actually. Very good. God bless you. Good to see you. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
That's great. So please have a good time together with Reverend Sto and Reverend John, together with Mr. Sobi. Then sharing well, and let's prepare for next. We wish the all election is going well, and your Mandayan community unite well, and we will prepare for next. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye. We'll just close off. Okay.